Hey everyone, welcome back to 22 Panels. This is the podcast that aims to examine, explore, and elevate the medium of comics. I am Tyler, and across the interwebs from me is Tad and Phil. What's up, guys?
Hey, Phil, thanks for joining us. Now shut
Oh,
the
thanks
hell
for
up
having
until we get to your part. No, I'm kidding.
Thanks for being here. Now, don't talk.
me. I make a great statue.
Well, except for that moving cat in your screen.
Yeah, they're
we
antsy.
we all we all have pets that come visit us during
Yeah.
recording.
Hmm.
I do actually, though, want to get to our great responsibility where we're diving into Lazarus. So I am going to advocate that we like jump right in and rush to the
Okay.
middle because
Okay.
because it just had to become more relevant like this week.
Right. All right. So your first news there, Tad. I didn't hear about this, but I'm very excited that Stella
Yeah.
Aykroyd is on board.
Stella Aykroyd is the lead writer with Luke Paisano and James Werner, and art by Felipe Zabrero.
Hmm.
The Blues Brothers, um, The Escape of Joliet Jake, the first official graphic novel of the Blues Brothers, is coming out from Z2 in October. Z2 does fantastic music crossover type work, so I am very much looking forward to this. Um, Z2 has done previous work with the Chris Farley estate and Weird Al, and of course our favorites are Dave Chisholm's jazz books. Or at least my favorites are Dave Chisholm's jazz books.
Yeah, they're good.
Um, yeah. So yeah, the Blues Brothers will be back in the saddle come October, and I'm very looking forward to that. Second and of interest, because like uh, as a cousin of mine on a family call pointed out, um, you can't often say that the Pope has come from your city.
You
Um,
know?
uh, and like for some of my family, it's actually from I want to say Dalton, which is a
Okay.
south suburb, but it's in like the same high school conference that my dad and uncles grew up in. So like,
They know the family.
well, they don't
Awesome.
necessarily know the family, but like the. I mean, you're thinking small towns, Tyler.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I am. That is
But
exactly
but like their sports teams would have played against the same sports teams from the high school of like the Pope.
the Pope.
So, what I'm hearing is you can give me some discount indulgences.
I don't know if that's at all true because among other things, we're a pretty agnostic, atheist, Unitarian clan, that sort of thing. So uh, unless there was a friendship that I don't know about,
They'll
Well,
have to be a non-denominational for now.
right. And for that matter, he's a White Sox fan, which I'm okay with. They need him. They need him. Um, but perhaps most importantly, he has recently slammed JD Vance on Twitter.
yeah, about JD having his Catholicism wrong on like the
Right,
importance of people to that you care about, right?
right.
JD has a hierarchy of people, and
And we
The
have an
Pope is saying
abundance
no.
pope. We have an
Yep.
abundance pope. We have
Yeah.
there is enough love for everyone.
Hmm.
Um, so how about that? We've got a vice president who's managed to anger two consecutive popes. Um,
Well, the previous Pope did say he was the worst Catholic he's ever seen.
well, and the previous pope stayed alive just long enough to give a mass in which he slammed him.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
after meeting him.
That was a quick turnaround because he was gone the next day. Oh man.
So yeah. What kind of weekend
It
has it been? In the good news, people who follow like political minutia have been watching
yeah.
what's been going on in North Carolina. The Democratic candidate for a Supreme Court seat had won, which would have flipped the leaning of that court, which is important because it's one of the more gerrymandered states in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they actually regularly elect Democrats to statewide office and yet have like a veto-proof majority in their state houses for the Republicans, and that shouldn't add up very well. They've got some pretty restrictive voting right laws, etc. So like flipping this state Supreme Court was a really big deal. Um,
Yeah.
and the Republican running essentially tried to change the rules after the fact. They ran numbers and like, oh, if we can manage to throw out all of the absentee balloting, it should swing to us. So the last 6 months now has been like them fighting to try to throw out all of these legitimate ballots essentially for no reason other than the election came out against them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Wound up with a truly remarkable decision that included the words, you can't change the rules after you've lost. um, which I'm really kind of happy that judges have gotten to the point where they're being really blunt with idiot lawsuits.
Yeah. Exactly.
In the not so cool news, though, thankfully there was enough like immediate um response that had
Backlash.
already been released. The mayor of Newark was arrested by ICE yesterday as he left after touring one of their detention facilities. In other
Mm-hmm.
words, they like literally waited until he was walking out the door and on camera to arrest. I mean, it was like we're talking boots on the ground, and this is where like the amount of shit that they flooded the field with, has probably made some people forget that there's currently a judge awaiting trial for following the rules of Wisconsin courtrooms
Yes.
and not allowing a defendant to be taken without a warrant.
Right. Um, have you seen the newest propaganda videos that Christy Nome has put out?
No, but I did see Chris
I
Murphy
get.
rake her over the coals yesterday
Yeah.
because this is, and I love this,
Okay.
for you budget hawks on the right. Um, right now, the Department of Homeland Security is on pace to have spent all of the money that they have allocated for the fiscal year by the end of June. The fiscal year goes through August.
Yeah.
So they will have spent all of their money by the end of June. And this is despite the fact that they have taken the funding away from cybersecurity. So China and Russia are having a field day. They've taken the money away from um, disaster relief just as we go into hurricane season. Um, they've essentially abdicated all responsibilities they have except for border security, and they're massively overspending.
Yeah.
And really just to like look big and strong. So yes, that's what kind of week has it been? Which is the
It's
new
been crazy.
the third point of the news of note, just so that we don't spend all 3 points on Politics every week. What kind of week has it been?
Yeah.
Hat tip
What?
to Aaron Sorkin and his what kind of day has it been episodes.
All right. Well, let's get to
Let's
comic
talk some new
books.
comics coming out.
Yeah. So I've got Captain America, #1 from Chip Zdarsky and Valerio Schiti. Is it
Sheedy,
Schiti?
say that carefully.
Is it? Well, I am. Is it Schiti?
I'm pretty certain.
Okay. And
Any other way to say it, yeah, we're gonna go with Sheedy.
got it. All right. So scroll for me, will
July
you?
2nd.
Yeah, from July 2nd, a new era for Captain America begins here. While Captain America slumbered in ice, the world changed, for better or for worse. Steve Rogers awakens to a reality where battles are fought in the shadows through secrets and subterfuge, and villains aren't so easy to identify. Well, just look for the red hat. When a fledgling dictator named Victor Von Doom conquered Latveria, I can never pronounce that. Steve faces a critical decision: adapt to a new kind of warfare or forge his own path. And what will the choice he make in the past mean for the future? Experience the untold tale of Captain America's first encounter with Doctor Doom as Chip Zdarsky and Valerio Schiti team up for a game-changing new era of Captain America.
This sounds cool.
It does.
I still think I'm going to try to avoid putting it on my pull list, but I might have to read it in a somewhat timely manner when it hits Marvel Unlimited, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to read it on Marvel Unlimited. It's not one that I can put into the list right now.
So I'm not going to read the whole thing on this. I'm hoping that apparently this is going to be a new line of books. They're DCWIP, as in work in progress. So it's like an artist edition experience, but in comic book size, or if not comic book size, slightly oversized.
Yeah, format.
Yeah.
Yep.
Artboard side. So they're putting out, and this is the important part, because so often the artist editions, as beautiful as they look, are just outside of the realm of what people can pay for. So they are putting out All-Star Superman #1 in the original artboard size, with just the quietly line and ink art,
Yep.
and then full lettering so that you can read it. For $14.99. So for $15, you can't get like the whole series, but you can get one issue where you get to like really see how things got put together.
That's really cool.
So yeah, this is definitely. I'm curious. I'm curious as how it will sell. I'm curious to what they do next, because God, there have been some. I mean, it would be so great to get a Batman Year One issue, or.
Do you know who's writing all the titles? I mean,
it's taking old titles. I don't know who's curating the line.
Oh, okay.
This is
Grant Morrison.
This is All-Star Superman #1. So like this is a 25-year-old comic.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's one of the legendary ones, but we're getting the like artist edition experience in a single issue affordable form.
That's great.
Yeah.
Definitely something I'll check out when the Batman one comes around. When it comes to DC.
Oh, I'll grab this one. But All-Star Superman is one of the greatest stories ever.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's all right. Put that on a great responsibility list somewhere.
Yeah. All-Star Superman.
Yep.
We can do that. Maybe we'll throw it in when we need a Lazarus break, because God knows we'll need a Lazarus break before we get done.
At some point, yeah. That's my one and only absolute edition there. Sorry.
So here you go. Let's look at some another one shot.
Yeah, this is called Hero Cave. from Sid Medea from Silver Sprocket. It's going to come out on July 30th. When the hero continues on their quest, the vanquished dust themselves off and get ready for work the next day. Hero Cave is a dungeon fantasy comic book for the rats, skeletons, and low level monsters of the underworld. Skeleton has a pretty easy gig. Scare the adventurers that visit Hero Cave, get killed, get back to up to do it again. But there's only so many times that you can be slain and revived before it gets old. This looks really cool, you guys. The cover is a fun little skeleton with a toothbrush on the top of his head,
Right.
cleaning
Yeah.
himself off. It's fun.
Yeah.
It looks
No,
really
this looks
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
This looks cool. Masterminds from Fred of the Pod, Zach Kaplan and Stephen Thompson on illustration. When ambitious and troubled video game programmer dares to audition for a secret society in the gaming tech industry, composed of cutthroat genius masterminds that promise to help their members achieve their wildest dreams, he and his rebellious coworkers find themselves in a gauntlet of real-life puzzles that quickly turn deadly. Are they truly smart enough to survive the mysterious game of the masterminds? 5-issue miniseries starts on July 21st from Dark Horse Comics. I get the first one for trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
Heaven, West Virginia from Ravi Tekshera. Lamont's father was not a good man. And now Lamont's father is dead. When Lamont arrives in the tiny Appalachian town of Heaven, West Virginia, its lush landscape feels stubbornly at odds with the rolling anxiety that's come to define his inner life. Living there and learning the art of foraging and tea making from his kind, stoic Aunt Latoya should be idyllic, even a paradise. But in the shadows of Heaven's woods, Lamont sees a dark, hulking figure, long, glimmering teeth, and piercing eyes. No one else seems to see this beast, not his aunt, and not the handsome cowboy Coyote, whose gentle voice evokes the comforting electric aroma of Latoya's brews. Escaping its voracious, hungry pursuit feels impossible, and Lamont will have to face more than the darkness of the woods to do so, a singular and seductive meditation on the complexity of grief, healing, and the power of the natural world. In stores on November 12th from Oni Press.
Super cool. This one I'm really looking forward to. It's called You're All Just Jealous of My Jetpack from Tom Gauld. It's going to be out from Drawn and Quarterly on August 8th or August 6th, excuse me. The inaugural collection of cartoons that introduced Tom Gauld's literary wit to the world, now in paperback. Drawn from Tom Gauld's popular comics feature in The Guardian, You're All Just Jealous of My Jetpack perfectly distills Gauld's dark humor, impeccable timing, and distinctive style. Again and again, Gauld reaffirms his position as a first-rank cartoonist, creating work infused with a deep understanding of both literary and cartoon history. This looks cool. It's going to be like kind of the opposite, like a children's book, right? Where it opens the long way instead of the short way. Yeah.
Yeah. His books are shorter. Well, because they're comic strips, or a lot of them are comic strips. So they're designed to be read that way. Collections. You get to start with collections. Some Hate
Revisited.
Peter Bagge.
Yeah, from Peter Bagge, Buddy Bradley and Lisa Leavenworth, now middle-aged with a free-spirited young adult of their own, confront their own poor decisions as young people in the grungy 90s, expertly shifting between the present day and their Gen X heyday. We learned for the first time in the story of how Buddy met Lisa, Stinky, George, and Val. Meanwhile, Buddy is forced to come to terms with the tragic and covered up circumstances of Stinky's untimely death in the original Hate series, while navigating elder care, contemporary politics, family, and friendship. Again, you guys, this is going to be coming out on July 9th from Fantagraphics.
I had not grabbed this series when it came out just because
No, me either.
I'm lukewarm on Hate.
Okay.
I've read like half of it. I get why people like it, but it's a very 90s comic and like in the ways that that I didn't love the 90s, you know, where everybody wanted to be too cool for school and pretentious about everything and look down on things.
Yeah.
But this sounds like the grown up re reconsidering like those grunge years of the 90s, and now I'm way more interested. So
Yeah, this definitely
might
seems
have to
like
go back and look at this again. And who
Mhm,
knows? Maybe it'll help me go look at the original Hate, because it's a beloved comic.
mhm.
And it's a great comic. It's just not always my cup of tea. But I wonder if I'd wind up looking at it differently if it was part of this.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
exactly. Because now it seems like they're going back and correcting some of those tropes that are silly,
Right.
you know.
Right. So Bad Idea. Some people may have remembered,
Mhm.
and they're probably hoping that not many people remember, but you know, we're gonna call it out anyway. Do you remember how they were never collecting anything? You could
Yeah.
only buy them in single issues, never to be
Yes.
collected. I mean, they already broke that by putting out wonderful hardcover editions that I have and love, and thank them for actually breaking their promise for and putting out via Kickstarter. But they're going to break that promise again, and I thank them for it again, as the
Mhm.
Hero Trade, um, the first Hero trade paperback, Hero for
Mhm.
Sale, is coming out in July. The seemingly straightforward tale of a man with the body of a superhero in the trunk of his car, driving from one nefarious organization to another and selling it piece by piece. That's so Bad Idea right there. Well, that's so Matt Kent right there, because it's Matt Kent and
Yes.
David Lapham. I mean, that's why I'm
Mm.
so happy that this is making it out to everybody. It's Matt Kent and David Lapham. Just the seemingly straightforward tale of a man with the body of a superhero in the trunk of his car, driving from one nefarious organization to another and selling it piece by piece.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even really need to read anything more, and I'm going to decide not to, because I'm spending all of my extra time talking about how like just that sentence is so Matt Kent.
I
Yes.
mean, I'm sold. I need to read this.
Right.
It sounds like what I wanted. We only find them when they're dead to be. You know, I'd more
Right.
on the selling of superpower beings, less on space drama.
Well, and it's not even space. It's all
Mm-hmm.
very, very,
It's
yeah.
David Laugh.
It's David Lapham. Yeah. I may have to go reread this today, because I have the hardcover.
Ooh.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
definitely gonna have to check that out. When,
yeah. So Matt Kent, David Lapham in stores on July 9th. And if you really need more than that, go look it up. I think that sentence alone should sell it. I mean,
yes.
frankly, I think Matt Kent and David Lapham should sell it. I think either Matt Kent or David Lapham should sell it.
That would be fun.
Right?
Yep.
But if they
I
work
mean,
together, they'll cover more ground.
right. No, this is two of my must purchase creators
Mm.
working together on a story that can be summed up as the seemingly straightforward tale of a man with the body of a superhero in the trunk of his car, driving from one nefarious organization to another and selling it piece by piece.
I still giggle at that, just imagining.
There's just nothing more to say. The Hero
Yep.
Trade in stores
Yep.
July 9th. Quick rundown of Final Order Cutoff. We've got Blood Type #1, the first series from EC Oni, the first like non-anthology series from EC Oni, from Karina Bechko and Andrea Sorrentino. Blue Palo Verde from Ray Fox and Ramonte at Mad Cave. Clementine, Volume 3 from Tilly Walden at Skybound Image. Gahana Naked Aggression from Patrick Kindland and Maurizio Rosenzweig from Image. Star Trek Omega from Christopher Cantwell, Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing, and a slew of artists from IDW. They Choose Violence #1 from Sheldon Allen and Mauricio Campatella at AWA. And Trinity, Daughter of Wonder Woman #1 from Tom King and Belen Ortega at DC Comics. All of these are final order cutoff of May 12th. Some Kickstarters we're keeping an eye on. Shaken and Stirred, a spy thriller from Steve Bryant and Rob Jones on Kickstarter through May 20th. Alex Toth's Zorro from Alien Books on Kickstarter through May 21st. That Sexy Bear from Owl and Iron Circus Comics
I
on
love that
Kickstarter
title.
through May 22nd. Oh, it looks amazing.
Yep.
Spike was just on the show. We talked about it.
Yep.
Comics Courier issue 2, Tiffany Babb on Kickstarter through June 1st. Tiffany was just on the show. We talked about it. Those shows should be up sometime this week. Tyler has like a life and stuff, and like it's sometimes he sometimes can't keep up with my recording.
Yeah, they're coming.
Right.
It takes a little bit of time per episode. It's not long, but
Right.
the biggest time is being able to just shut everybody out, sit down at my computer, do what I need to do, and get it out the door.
And then the Complete Lunch Comics by James Vanderberg is on Kickstarter through June 5th. That one caught both Tyler and I's attention because it's literally like comics that he made on his lunch break.
That's gonna be fun.
So, Tyler, what'd you love this week? And I left one of yours off of my list rather than doubling it up with one of the ones on my list.
Okay. Minor Arcana #6 came out a couple weeks ago, but do you remember I told you, I'm like, I didn't get this. It wasn't there.
I gave you hell because you didn't have it on your list, and it was so good. You're like, it wasn't at my store.
It wasn't. And then this Wednesday I went in and it was in my box. So
there you go.
There you go. I just read it and it was amazing.
Yes, it was.
I wish it would have come out. I wish I would have read it on time, but what do you do?
It was so good that you were willing to put it at the top of your list 2 weeks late.
Yep.
And I endorsed that decision. I didn't even think about giving you a hard time.
Do you like my note? Yes, I know it came out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, totally. I get where you're coming from.
Ultimate Wolverine #5 was so good. Chris Condon, you guys, is just on fire with this, and Alex Lynn's art is so good.
I mean, Chris Condon is on fire in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And then I always, guys, this is one of my most beloved characters. It's Jeff Week from Kelly Thompson and Guri Hero, and then the Jeff Week story is Gustavo Duarte. From Marvel. You know what I like about Jeff is that it takes the Marvel world and makes it silly for a second, and just because Marvel takes itself so seriously, and Jeff is not. Jeff is definitely an indie comic vibe, and I think that's what Marvel needs, a little shakeup, right? That I don't know. It's fun. I wish they would incorporate Jeff into a lot of the mainstream stories.
I wish he would pop up from time to time.
Yes.
Maybe someday.
Yep. I wish he would pop up just like in the background somewhere, maybe a big Avengers thing, and Jeff is just like watching. That would be really fun. Excuse me, I just burped on our recording.
So, speaking of Chris Condon and killing it.
Yep.
Bar Down Below #2 from Chris Condon and Gege Shaw came out from Mad Cave. This is a family ghost story. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just fucking good. Go read it. And like Mad Cave having day of release on Global Comics is like that alone should be worth the subscription to anybody out there. $8 a month, you can have every Mad Cave comic on the day of its release.
Yeah,
and a hell of a lot of other stuff. but yeah, far down below, I mean, we're just talking about Condon killing it. I mean, we haven't even seen, you know that there's a new installment of That's Texas Blood cooking. There has to be.
Yes.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine he's done. And I may have inside information. So I know he's not done. I don't know how much it's cooking. Because among other things, I may know that it's not actually the first thing cooking with him and Jacob. Um, but even among just
Yes.
what's coming out, his Green Arrow has been amazing. His Ultimate Wolverine has been amazing. Far Down Below has been amazing. And anybody who hasn't checked out um, what's out there for news from the Fallout that he's doing with Jeffrey Allen Love starting June 25th. Dark sci-fi horror story unlike any you've seen before. In 1962 Nevada, a nuclear bomb test goes horribly awry and unleashes a contaminant into the atmosphere that turns people rotten. Otis Fallows, a private in the U.S. Army who is present for the test and is the only known survivor, flees the secret army base in search of a safe haven. But does such place exist? The comic itself is amazing. I got to see it already. Uh, they're cooking up something on the side of it that's like equally amazing that I've seen parts of and like can't talk about beyond that. Um, like Chris Condon is turning himself into a powerhouse, and like we've had a front row seat, Tyler. So I love
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, I mean, when we first started talking to Chris, I mean, he was
Right,
relatively small potatoes,
right.
but
We were
yeah,
we were we were like in the first 10 or so podcasts that he'd ever done, I think. Um,
that's great. I
because
think
it
he's a
was
great guy.
way, way back when. Yeah, he's a fantastic guy, but like it's just crazy imagination and yeah.
Yep.
So happy that he made both of our lists this week. And I didn't
Yep.
even have to cheat. And like I'm totally happy putting Far Down Below number two in the top spot, even without combining it with Wolverine. And that's despite the fact that first I have to apologize to Tom King. As well as he stuck the landing on Black Canary, it didn't make my top three. Got left out.
So-
And he
yeah,
did.
but
He stuck the landing. I can't argue. He did well. There weren't quite enough books for me to decide to go a top nine this week.
yeah, it
Otherwise,
was
he might have made like the top six.
yeah. Did it feel
Um,
like I know there were a number of books out, but did it feel like a fifth week where
it
to
did.
me,
It did.
I
It
was like,
wasn't. It
where?
wasn't a heavy week this week.
No, it was like, where's my
Um,
good stuff?
and then Vanishing Point number one from Mark Russell and Juan Doe at Mad Cave.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be like not quite an anthology series because I think the idea is that each issue is going to be a self-contained futuristic tale. Um, but that's certainly what the
Okay.
first issue was, and with like typical Mark Russell humor and biting social commentary and all too real heartbreaking near future predictions.
Mhm.
um which is why it was really great that there was also the just plain fun J
Mhm.
versus K from Jerry Craft and Kwame Anderson came out from Little Brown this week. uh it involves two fifth graders essentially fighting over who's the best storyteller. One of them is a comic creator who doesn't really use words, and the other is a wordsmith who doesn't do pictures. And like spoiler, they team up by the end. But
Yeah.
it's a great friendship tale. It mixes prose and comics, and both Kwame Anderson and Jerry Craft are just absolute masters. This is one to give to your kids and your middle schoolers. Your high schoolers might like look down on it just because they're high schoolers and it's middle
That's
school
just the way
stuff.
they are. Yeah.
But by the time they're in college, they'll appreciate it again. And all the parents listening, this is one that they'll enjoy. And mom, definitely one for the library. J versus K from Jerry Craft and Kwame Anderson at Little Brown. Uh, Tyler, I caught up some this week.
Yeah,
I
because I
got
didn't read
to
any.
464.
I didn't read any. One Piece, you guys, has been tough for me this week. It's just I couldn't believe it. I got the Great Responsibility read for this week, no problem. And then
Right.
my weekly issues I just barely got to, and
Right.
then One Piece, not at all.
It's that time of year.
Yep.
I did manage to, I did most of my One Piece early in the week and a couple more chapters this morning.
Yeah.
I'm still loving it. Like I like this shadow warrior thing going on, and they have to
Yes.
get their shadows back, and like
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
very cool.
Phil, have you ever watched or read any One Piece?
I actually read like I want to say the first 3 to 5 volumes back when it
Okay.
first started coming out in America.
Hmm.
And I gotta say, as a 12 or 13 year old, I was amused but not impressed, and I didn't keep up with it. I was like, I don't know about this. How long can they keep this going? And
Oh,
I was
they've
very
kept it
wrong.
going.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
Well,
pretty wrong. I was pretty wrong.
Well, and I would honestly say that like if you read the first 3 to 5 volumes, like
Uh-huh.
where it started really getting good was when they hit the Grand Line, and it took
I, I have to imagine. Yeah,
at least
I
six or
liked the
seven
first.
volumes to get there.
Right. The first I saw the first fight against another pirate who had eaten the rubber tree fruit, I think it is.
Okay.
The
Yeah, yeah.
and that was really cool.
The
But
devil
yeah,
fruit.
yeah, the devil fruit, that's it. It was a little meandery. Like I said, I yeah. I will admit to being wrong about One Piece.
you know, I don't,
I'll
but
have
I
to
don't
check
think
it
you're
out one
wrong,
day.
Phil. I don't think you're wrong. Like I have that same feeling about One Piece being a little meandering. Um,
Mhm.
but but after a while,
It's go ahead, Tyler.
but after a while, it's kind of enduring, right? It's part of its
Mhm.
charm. It's part of its. I mean, that's
Right.
Luffy's attitude anyway, right? You kind of feel
Right.
like you're just
Mhm.
part of the adventure wherever you're gonna go.
Right.
Uh,
And it really makes me think that like I need to be looking harder at like any week one stuff from on either Shonen Jump or Viz,
yeah.
because I wonder if I would have had a totally different view of One Piece if I'd been reading it in real time. And I
Mhm.
don't know if it would have made it better or worse. I think some of the wandering would have made it easier because you were going week to week and not trying to do as much. Um, but then some of the slow burns would have been harder. So I don't even know.
I
Mhm.
agree. Yep.
I don't know how to describe this series except that I don't feel like I'm still reading it just because I decided that I was going to read it all. I
Mhm.
continue to enjoy it. I just also have a lot of other comics to read, and it hasn't
Mhm.
necessarily grabbed me to the point where I like will ignore all other comics to read it.
Same.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. It
Uh,
is definitely my last thing um
it
in
tends to.
my
I try to make it like my first thing, so it's
okay.
before Wednesday comics, but like that it makes it so it depends on what I need to read for interviews.
Yes. I can
Like
see that.
the more I have to read to talk to people, the less One Piece I'll read in a given week. Because there's a
Okay.
good chance that I'm not reading any One Piece after Wednesday.
True. Yeah, once you get your new comics, yeah,
Right.
those take precedent. And
Right.
yeah.
Um,
Cool. Well,
but yeah, I mean,
that's One
overall,
Piece for the week.
I mean, yeah, I mean, in some ways, it almost would have been better to just decide to do a volume, but I think it's also fun to see when we get compelled forward, and I understand why, because it's really only been time that has made me not, but like you jumped forward 40 chapters a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
And like when I read it, I'm like, or when I started getting into it, I'm like, oh, this is really good. I understand why he didn't put it down.
Yeah, it just kept me going, and so
Right.
but
So,
then
so
but then I saw how far ahead I was, and I'm like, I can relax. Tad can catch
right,
up.
right. So we got the tortoise and the hare going on too. Yeah.
Yes, a little bit. And we alternate on who's the tortoise and who's the
Well,
hare.
I remember because at one point I was like 100 chapters ahead of you. I'm like, I don't need to read for a while.
Yep. Yep. But
Uh,
we should continue on because we are right at that spot where we want to involve Phil.
yeah.
This is our
So this is where I'm actually going to hand it to Phil because Phil has
Oh
been
boy.
looking forward to this book club since the first time I floated the idea randomly that this book club might someday exist. Um, Apparently, Trump has announced an immediate India-Pakistan ceasefire. No word on whether he's talked to India or Pakistan or thinks that if he just announces it that they will fall into line. We will hear more about that as the day goes on, I'm certain.
Oh yeah, that's wild.
we're getting news in real time, people.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's.
So
I was gonna
so
say,
Phil, talk to us about Lazarus, and then we'll together get
gosh,
into why now is when it's finally happening, and why
right?
we're going
Yeah.
so slow. Because we are
So,
right now at least deciding to go an issue at a time, which
That was
means
mhm,
so hard. I wanted to read more, but I knew that if I
mhm,
read
mhm,
more, I would confuse them when we talked about
right.
it.
Um,
totally.
which means that like right now we're looking at spending about the next year with it.
Hmm.
I we may slow down or we may take time off. We may speed up at different parts. Um, that's something that I think we'll discuss week to week. But like the reason I wanted to do that was because Rucka often has extra reading that you can do. He didn't in
Hmm.
issue one, but as it turns out, Spencer Ackerman, who is a huge fan of of Lazarus, and who knows, may join us for one of these at some point. Without even knowing that we were starting Lazarus, put a link
Hmm.
to an article in his most recent newsletter that was just all too on point.
Oh yeah,
So Phil, you get to
yeah.
introduce Lazarus.
All right. So for anyone who hasn't heard of it, hasn't isn't already familiar, Lazarus is a series about a future in which the world is no longer divided up politically or geographically, but financially. It is not ruled; it is owned, and there are. I believe in this first issue, we don't know how many, but eventually it's, I think, about 16 families that own the
If
world.
that, somewhere like that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a lot. And honestly, going issue to issue here, so it started coming out in mid to late 2013, which for me
Right.
was the year I graduated college, and immediately went back to working at the grocery store because I didn't know how to use my degree at that point. Still figuring that one out. But it's it's certainly wild reading the back matter when he said, "Oh, it's 2010 and things have gotten to this point." And he talks about the seeds for the idea behind this book is the continued fallout from the 2008 financial crisis and the Occupy movement that I have to imagine was some of a response to it. Um,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, and it's funny to
And
hear someone
and
say,
and shame on the media for how little it covered and
yes,
how much it mischaracterized the Occupy movement.
absolutely, and it's just wild to hear things are really bad these days from a comic that came out 12 years ago and be like, hang on to your hat, buddy. um, you know, uh, so that perspective was interesting. But what struck me the most about issue one is just how different that first issue is from so many other comic series I've read from them. Um, it
Yeah.
it starts out dark. It starts out dour and depressing, and if there's one thing you learn from issue one, it's that this is a world without heroes. And in a medium like comics, from someone who had previously written mostly superheroes, not all, but mostly, it's such a stark difference. And what I also think about is that this is the grim, dark, gritty uh, sort of vibe attitude that others emulate, but Rucka actually has and delivers.
Right.
I feel like I've talked a bit there.
Yeah. Tyler, your initial thoughts as the one that like you're actually reading issue one for the first time.
Yeah,
Phil and I are
and
both rereading.
yeah, I'm going to pull it up here just so I can know what I'm referencing. What I discovered about it, Ted, the first thing I noticed is I couldn't open your CBR files that you had posted. My iPad is just not
You need to get
with
yourself a
it here.
reader and then
I do
download
have.
them.
No, I do, and then it didn't. My reader that I do have did not like the Google Drive aspect of it. It had a problem. In anyway.
Well, yeah, no, what I'm saying is you should download them to your iPad. And
Oh,
then it's
okay.
not doing it from Google Drive.
Okay. So, the my first impression of this is pretty awesome. I don't think I have ever read a story. I'm trying to pull it up here.
It starts out with the character dying.
Well, I have read a story with characters dying, but I was just very confused at the beginning, going, what is happening?
Right.
Right, especially with this catalog of trauma, right, as follows, and then it's just this almost bullet point by bullet point, okay, not literally bullet points, but of going through how she was shot, and like where bullets went in, where they came out, where they lodged. It was very clinical, and then you have the splash page of the dead body, and it's just very visceral in all of the blood that's there when it's like black and gray, you know what I mean, coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it though. I had to go back and reread the intro description because I skipped that when I
Yeah, the intro description is important. For
yeah.
that matter, I'm going to give it to our listeners now. The world now lies divided not amongst political or geographic boundaries, but amongst financial ones. Wealth is power, and that power rests with only a handful of families. The few who provide a service for their ruling family are cared for. The others are waste. In each family, there is one person given the best they can offer training and technology and assets, every scientific advantage. This person is named their family's sword and shield, their protector, their Lazarus. In Family Carlisle, the Lazarus is called Forever. This is her story.
Yeah, I mean, you can just I don't know if you've been reading the X-Men, but a few years ago they had their pit that they could, not really a Lazarus pit like in Batman, but
Right.
they reincarnated the X-Men every time they died. And then this is a lot like that, right? And each of these deaths is super painful. And in the last time Spider-Man, right, had that big 8 deaths of Spider-Man, and it really hit home on how much of a toll this took on his psyche, right?
Right.
And then there was a scene in here where uh the character wanted a quick and painless death, shot to the back of the head.
Right.
And
And she's like, it'll be quick, but it won't be painless. Trust me, I know.
yep, yep, yeah.
How about I know both.
So like her brother, right? What is his role in the
Mhm.
family? I'm just still trying to like wrap my head around the world here.
I think it's better for us to figure out as we go.
Yeah.
Among other things,
Yeah.
there is intrigue upon intrigue upon intrigue.
Mhm.
I mean, if you think about it, it all makes sense because if you've got like already all of the power is vested in a handful of families, are those families going to play nice with each other? or are you going to wind
No.
up with like the Borgias?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, what's his role in the family? Well, he's a rich boy, so
Yeah.
Right.
he does what rich boys do.
Yeah. I mean,
I won't say yet whether he's a fail son.
okay. Do you
There
know?
are definitely fail sons in these books.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's and
Okay.
that's
Okay.
sorry, Tyler. I didn't. Yeah, I felt like you were getting into something that cut you off.
No, that was exactly where I was going. Like, he kind of feels like a one of the Trump sons, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is he
yeah,
Eric or
Well, he looks a little bit more like Eric, right, than Don Jr.
right.
But
right? Yeah.
but
Oh
oh,
yeah. It's
did you guys hear about poor Barron? He can't get into the college he wants to go to.
no.
Oh my.
I
Oh,
thankfully had
Which
forgotten it
college did he want
existed.
to go
So
to?
I don't know. It was an Ivy League school, and
Just
they just flat
because I
out said
want to
no.
donate some money to them now.
No, yeah, it was an Ivy League school. I don't remember which one, and they just flat out said no. And so,
Nice.
amazing,
yep,
incredible. Um,
yeah,
Um,
it, but yeah, so that's the other thing is that right now I'm definitely biting my tongue on a lot of the details to come because that was another thing that struck me in about rereading this first issue is just how and
how
how
many seeds
little
are
is
planted?
yes, how many seeds are planted, but how few trees are
How little
actually
is actually shown?
yes. And so it's got this wild novelistic approach to where like Tyler mentioned, they throw you right into the action. They don't care about having it make sense. It's a little bit of a Howard Chaykin, well, if you didn't get it, read it again sort of thing.
I had
It's
to. Yeah, I didn't have to read it again, but I did have to go back and, like I said,
mhm,
check out and I'm like, oh, there is a forward here I should have read. you
mhm.
know.
I
Oh yeah.
wanna highlight before we jump into the article that came out
Mhm,
literally this week.
Yeah.
I want to highlight what has always been the most striking page to me, and that's because this is weird because like Tyler and I did a whole thing on like liking character building versus world building, and here I'm gonna like highlight
mhm,
a major piece of world building, and I think it's because it's so well done that it
mhm,
winds up mattering so much to me. Um, on page 13, so probably 12 if we're counting the cover, not counting the cover is page one, whatever. Um, you have the planting going on at the top, and then like the prison and whatnot. But
mhm,
if you just read down the side, it's Central California, the San Joaquin Valley. Facility, Harvest 1, family, Carlisle. Population, family. 2, temporary. Population, surf, 512. Population, waste, 32,500. Estimated.
mhm, mhm. I I love that this is a book that does the most.
And
That
is
it
like,
yes,
holy.
yeah. And that's another thing is that while it's been a while since I've attempted to write anything that I would remotely describe as sci-fi, this series continues to be a massive influence on me for its world building specifically, in that they literally just show you a glimpse of an iceberg and say, "Don't even worry about what's under there."
Yep.
Um, and I
But they
I wanted
clearly think
to
about it. Because, like,
exactly yes.
at least I can't look at that without going, okay, there are two people who matter.
Hmm.
And at this site, there are 512 people required to allow those two people who matter to live the life that they want to live.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And then there's 32,000 people that they don't give a damn, and they can live or die as long as they stay off their property.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's grim.
It's like,
It's
holy. And like for in a world where there are people who like to rebrand billionaires as job creators, um, this is like an important piece of math. No,
Yeah.
they don't need to create that many jobs.
Oh,
In real efficiency, there winds up being a lot of people who are waste. Um, which is where I'm going to take it to this wonderful article that Spencer Ackerman linked. Spencer Ackerman didn't even write about it. I was, I think he called it, uh, something on drugs, possibly Guantanamo on drugs. Um,
hmm
da, 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 da. Yeah, let's see. Want to know what Guantanamo Bay looks like on ketamine? Is all
Mm.
that Spencer Ackerman said in Forever Wars about this. But that was more than enough to get me to click and look at. And I wasn't even done reading it before I shared it with Phil and Tyler. The Liberty
hmm
King Tech Bros weird dystopian plan for Guantanamo Bay, the latest dream of the Freedom City proponents. Transform Island Prison into a migrant proving ground that doubles as an American Dubai.
It's honestly, it's that phrasing that is just killing me. Um, and the idea that, hey, we're going to have a lawless zone where we can judge whether these are people who we want to let into our society or not is
Right.
is just so beyond the pale that
And that
you
like
know
they have, I mean, like
yeah, it just
this
just just
this would be
everything.
crazy if it was a, a deep internet conspiracy theory.
Right.
right.
But this is being done out, or this is being proposed out in the open and reported on.
hmm
The New Republic is where this story is. There, it links to a story in Wired about startup city groups say
Mm.
they're meeting Trump officials to
Jeez.
form deregulated free or to push for deregulated freedoms. I mean, these aren't like these aren't news outlets that don't fact check.
No, exactly. Yeah, this
And
is
for that
hardly this
matter,
is hardly clickbait. This is a
and for that
detailed
matter,
piece.
they have the link
Uh-huh.
to the Charter City Institute's actual proposal. So it's like
Oh
they
no.
don't have to completely fact check.
Right.
The people
Oh
who do
goodness.
it put it up
Yeah.
online.
Jeez. And it's just yeah,
Right up
it's
top.
grim.
Guantanamo
hmm
Bay has long been synonymous with controversy, but what
Yeah.
if it could be repurchased as a dynamic charter city? This
Oh
paper
boy.
lays out a bold vision for transforming the site into an economic hub. Too long didn't read, transforming it into
Yeah.
a city a la the jungle, for
Yeah.
those of us who had to read Upton Sinclair in school. Um,
Yes.
Uh it feels very Lord of the Flies even,
well, and for that matter,
but in society.
bypass the multi-tiered hurdles of zoning boards, county regulations, city councils, and environmental legal frameworks
Mm-hmm.
to encourage cutting edge R&D in areas like biotech,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence, and nuclear microreactors. So
Yeah.
how much does this also sound like, ooh, give us free human samples?
Pretty much, yeah. It's the idea of, hey, got some questions about Neuralink's human testing? No, you don't. It's totally legal. You
Yeah,
can do
yeah,
whatever
no,
you want.
we collected some waste in Guantanamo,
Ugh. Yeah,
Yes.
it's
and we
wild.
offered their families the opportunity to become serfs
hmm
if
Yeah, it's
If
it's
they
very it's
behave.
yeah
eh.
it's yeah it's pretty
Okay,
it's
okay. The New
pretty
York
grim how
Times has
quickly it's
breaking
dying up.
news. Apparently, India and Pakistan have confirmed that the two sides have called a ceasefire.
Okay, that's
So,
that's uh that's good for now. I mean,
This is where I'll say, if it turns out that he was actually involved in any of the
uh-huh.
negotiations rather than just taking credit, I will count this as a good thing that Trump has done. It will be like the third good thing that Trump has done in what, 4 years and 4 months as president.
Okay, so
Um,
Mhm.
you are able to acknowledge when he does good things. So doesn't that mean that you do not have Trump derangement syndrome?
I think it
Oh
does. Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
I think it
If you're
does.
able to
This
point
is
out,
this is where I want to rain on this parade a little bit and say that if he created the circumstances that led to the escalation in hostilities, I would actually revoke any credit involved because you don't get credit for cleaning up your own mess.
Well, that
true.
I agree, but I don't know that he did in this case.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little too. I'm not. Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
not going to
I think
start
the
bullshitting that
only
hard.
extent in which he did in this case is like
Mhm.
by being on the side of Putin and Erdogan and whatnot, he may have
Mhm.
emboldened people to go, "Oh, he won't
There you
say
go.
boo."
Yeah, combine that with global economic destability, and that's going to
Right,
increase hostilities in any given region. So he
right.
has a non-zero amount of blame,
Is a
is what
non-zero
I would
amount of
say.
blame, but let's face it. What did
Uh-huh.
you expect him to do? Did you expect him to do anything to stop this, or did you expect him to say,
To
"Not our problem"?
to be fair, I expected him to cheer it on. So
Right, right.
it's yeah.
So, I mean, this is kind of like Mike Pence
Trump in
getting
the
the.
corner going, fight, fight,
This is,
fight.
yeah, this is
Right.
kind of like Mike Pence getting the profile in freedom. Um,
Oh, that.
I I'm actually okay with it.
Oh.
But only in that narrow band of for
Uh-huh.
one day.
Yeah, exactly.
He was not
You
willing
know.
to throw the Constitution out the window, even as his boss was calling for him to be hung.
Yeah. For better or for worse,
On the
it's
flip
what we got.
side, even if he was a completely like calculating, conniving, and that didn't have anything to do with patriotism, you could get to that because like he's got a couple of
Hmm.
options. If he throws the election to Trump, is
Hmm.
Trump gonna like appreciate it? Is he gonna move up? Is he gonna be the next president in line after Trump? No, that's not how Trump works.
No.
If the mob gets to him, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
So if he refutes the mob and manages to live through it, is like his only chance for political survival.
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm
You know,
not
that's
actually so cynical as to say that that's the only reason that Mike Pence did it. But if I was hyper cynical,
uh-huh.
that argument could be made.
True.
Right. Goodness.
Um,
It's just to bring it back to Lazarus real quick. One of the other thoughts I had reading the back matter about Greg clearly restating, the math of this amount of people own this gratuitous amount of
and
the world. And
it's gotten significantly worse since then.
yes. And the thing is like, wow, we knew this. We knew that it was bad and it was getting worse again 12 years ago.
Right.
It has gotten so much worse. I had a brief thought of, I can't believe we didn't learn what was necessary to stop this.
Well, what
And
I
that's
actually
kind of,
love in particular was he noted that um didn't he note the difference after the 2009 um yes he did. So top 1% of wage earners had seen an
mhm,
8.2% increase in their wages between
right.
2009 and 11, while the annual wages of those Americans in the bottom 90% had actually
Mhm.
continued to decrease
Yeah.
by an average of 1.2% over the same period. Um, and like the pandemic was that on steroids.
hmm And I guess where I was trying to link that back to Mike Pence was the idea of like I haven't thought about Mike Pence in a while, and it's one of those things that's like, you know, did anything he did matter? You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking is it's one of those would would the world be a better or worse place if he had decided to lick the boot instead of try to save some semblance of the America that is now dying repeatedly from the same guy, you know? Um, that's
All right.
that's kind of the stuff running through my head.
I'm just flipping through the article here, and I've got a quote from the CCI plan. And this is one of the things that I think is important to remember um, when we want to um, just slam the intelligence of the people who disagree with us.
hmm
Um, is that there are smart, eloquent people on their side too.
hmm
Try
Why
for a
don't we see
second.
them? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
try for a second. Well, no, I get that. Because they're smart enough not to put their faces on things
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they know what they're doing. They don't want to be the face of it.
hmm
But but try for a second to not know what you already know about how evil this plan is and just listen to this
hmm
sentence. Guantanamo Bay's success would not only revitalize the U.S. brand abroad, but also serve as a powerful reminder of how quickly the nation can pivot from war on terror legacies to economic ambition.
Yeah. Ugh. Um, I don't really want to pivot towards economic ambition in
I
most
don't either,
circumstances.
but again,
Yeah, that's pretty
can't you
grim. It's pretty
see
grim.
all sorts of very reasonable people reading that and going, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is interesting."
Unfortunately, yes. I can see many people who would see that sentence and perk up in delight as opposed to
Right.
shudder in dismay.
You
It's bad.
know,
Yeah.
uh, uh, where we're not actually talking about um we're not actually talking about people who have to be stupid. They just have to not
hmm
scratch too hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey guys, I've got about 10 minutes before I got to get ready for work.
Well, then we
All right.
should talk about
The
what
the
Sorry.
we're
one
okay.
last Lazarus thought is that in the way that the oligarchs of today are trying to ignore and conceal our humanity, Lazarus at least continues to spotlight on it. In that,
Yeah.
for a story that has an engrossing world that is so meticulously built, at the end of the day, this is still ultimately the story of one woman, Forever Carlyle, you know, and her humanity, and
I'm
that's
gonna
I mean,
throw
amidst the world.
a wide angle Lazarus shot in. A lot of people have been talking about how what is being done with the universities and cutting down on research, et cetera, is like the rich shooting themselves in the foot, et cetera.
Mhm.
Um, think about that in terms of how research continues and specifically the ways in which research continues in this book.
Mhm.
Um, because I hope I hope that the rich are shooting themselves in the foot by strangling research right now. I fear um, that they're strangling it so that they can better control it and benefit from it
Yeah.
with no care to who else gets the benefits. So that will be seen, but it's something I wanted to toss out now because there are elements of that in this issue, and I think that there are interesting conversations to be had around it. And we've got many
Mhm.
issues to go. So it'll be Lazarus issue 2 for next week. Three books I hope are spectacular next week. I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer #2 from Doug Wagner and Daniel Hilliard at Image Comics. Money Shot Big Bang #1 from Tim Seeley, Patton Oswalt, and Garth Graham at Vault. and Pastime number 2 from Joe Harris and Russell Olson at Mad Cave. What are you looking forward to, Tyler?
New series from James Tynion, Exquisite Corpses. Number 1
Yeah,
is
it looks
coming
good.
out. Yeah, James Tynion and Michael Walsh and Jordi Belair from Image. Uh, I'm really, really excited for the Batman, Absolute Batman number 8 from Scott Snyder and Marcos Martin at DC. And I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer number 2 from Doug Wagner and Daniel Hilliard is just really on my radar. Like that first issue really captured my attention. So, Phil, what about you? You got anything on the radar that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to reading Lazarus number 2 next week.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that is unfortunately the entirety of my radar for right now.
Do you when you go back and you're reading these issue by issues with us right now,
Mhm.
are you discovering new stuff?
In this first one, less so.
Yeah.
I have to imagine that I will.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm, studying the faces of those 6 people who were accused of letting in the people who were trying to steal the grain, and trying to see if I recognize any of them for later.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but I don't think so. So, yeah, yeah. I think the revelations will start picking up in a good 3 to 6 issues.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This has been awesome. But again, I got to go work at the library. Wah, wah, wah.
That's a good thing. Now you can recommend
Yeah.
Lazarus to people.
I will.
There you go.
I will be. I will be. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you after the next page. See ya.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22 Panels Podcast.